of the Antikithera mechanism. It's an incredible artifact. It's an artifact that was found in a shipwreck when the sponge divers were diving around the little island of Antikithera. They found a ship there, and it had some bronze statues in it and stuff, and one of the things they brought up is a little box. Kind of looked like a bird cage a little bit, with a clock trapped on the middle of it because it's got all these wheels and cogs. So they didn't know really what it had to do with anything, but that's kind of neat. Well, that got back shoveled a few times and looked at by people, and lo and behold, they found out this thing is incredible. And the more they looked into it, the more they found out, and the more they looked into it, the more they found out. So this box was basically like the size of a jewelry box. You could possibly fit a football in the middle of it if you could open the thing up. But it had all these cogs and wheels that are attached to it, and not only did this clock face worked, but also other clock faces worked, and at the same time and off other mechanisms. So that's just wickedly awesome. But I heard the comment that people said that we didn't have something this fancy or ornate until like the 1400s and early German incredible clockmakers. And I was like, well, clockmakers bullshit. This thing does the day, but it also tracks where the moon is at the same time, and it can predict eclipses decades into the future. It's got built into it where they understood the mechanism of an 18.5-year moon cycle and how that all works with everything. They had it all figured out. Kind of like Stonehenge, where it's got all these alignments for certain times a year. This thing had it built into it, and cogs and wheels. In fact, real odd, they did x-rays to this box to figure out all the wheels that are in there, and a few of the wheels are a little bit egg-shaped and oval. And like, what would that do? What purpose would that serve? Well, when it was rolling along, it would have a speeding up and slowing down and speeding up and slowing down and speeding up effect to it. And so this thing could not only detect where that was in relation to everything, but all the planets simultaneously. Yeah, all the planets. And of course, like I said, it predicted eclipses well into the future. But also it had a running thing that would keep up with the Olympic Games and where they were going to be. So that was one way they were able to date this thing, I think, is they were like, well, during these times, this is exactly when they're talking about. So it looks like it's, in the 2nd century BC, as early as almost the 3rd. But the statuary and all the things that were in the shipwreck with them kind of dated already right there. But it's basically the earliest analog computer ever created that anyone knows anything about, right? Once you realize how intricate this thing is, you can imagine that they were doing this stuff a long time before this. Yeah. And I've shown deals where they have schematics where they showed how they made doors open automatically to temples and stuff to make it all woo-woo. Yeah, and they even had ancient robots and things like that. And Hero of Alexandria worked with steam engines. And if things would have twisted a little bit different there, steam-powered engines would have been here a long time before. They ended up showing up later in locomotives and so on. But the Antikythera mechanism, it's quite unique. I did a little project with a guy, and we're working on it still to this day. And it's the people who go through time, and they learn things from this and stuff. And the mechanism that gets them around through time is something that's very akin to the Antikythera mechanism. And you basically just set the time where you want to, and then once you turn it on, wow, it takes you there. Anyhow, yeah, you ought to look into this. I'd like to be able to know more about it if I can. And I had a video set up on my old computer before it fried of a guy talking and everything, but I think it seems like I remember recording it and doing everything and then trying to upload it, and it got flagged. So I'm not sure what happened there. I believe that was the one on this, though, where the guy was talking about it and what all the parts do. And then on this side, and you know how you have a old watch with the hands on the watch type watch, not digital watch or anything, and that if you take the little spinner on the side of it and you pull it out one click, it goes the hours and minutes hand, and the other click will go to where it does the seconds hand, and then you can click it out one more, and it, spinning it one way tries to change the date and everything like that. Well, it had a couple of arms that were like that built into it too. Yeah, and part of it worked whenever you worked another part of it, but the other part could run independently somewhat. So you could do the stuff that was just on the face number 6, or you could do some type of prediction thing that was going on that was face number 6 and face number 4. And that's incredible that it had enough intricacy to do that. But not only is it, regular clock for the day, it is an astronomical clock. It can show you basically where all the planets are, when and where, and in relation to where you are in the sun, and all these other things logged into it. All you have to do is set it up right in the first place, of course, and then let it do its thing. But I think it's a real incredible device, something that whenever people figured this out, it was incredible. Whenever I was a kid, I saw shows about it. It had, let's see, the one I'm thinking of now had Leonard Nimoy, Spock, talking about it. It was pretty cool. But yeah, Antikithera mechanism makes you wonder how long before this did they really actually have something that's like this. Because there's maritime civilizations that have been around for a long time and going around and knowing which direction to go and things like that. So it's really something that people would like to have believed and kind of knew that it was happening, but this was a verification of something that people are, to this day, their minds are blown by this. I've seen recreations of what it was, and it was like, wow. And then the guy goes, I can only make 2 faces of it work, though. I can't do what the hell they had the other part. I don't know how to make the little mechanism that makes it work. And you can imagine all the gearing and cogging in here. And so this is something weird, because utilizing those gears and cogs means that there's a rhythm to all of this, and that they must have known that too. And it's all sacred geometry type numbers, and like, okay, and so they all hook together, and that reduces the speed on this one to make it equal to this, and they knew how to do this. So this is extremely intricate. Anyhow, Antikithera mechanism, first known analog computer, and believe me, this was like some kind of space tricorder at the time. Peace.